Yo, what up? It's your girl Joy, the Hip Hop Power Font, and welcome to the rap session. Okay, we are back, okay, to discuss some upcoming aspects. I was about to say upcoming astrology, I don't know why, but yes, it's been a while, but I hope you all have been enjoying the reels or the shorts on here of my recent escapades down at the Noodle Thinkers Convention, okay, here in Newport News, Virginia. All right, met some great people. Check those reels out, those shorts, whatever. They all the same. They TikToks anyway. It don't matter. But this week we will be talking about Mercury, Neptune, and Pluto. Okay, Mercury will be squaring Neptune June 3rd at 8:18 p.m. Mercury will be making a quincunx to Pluto, okay, on June 4th at 2:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, yes, this is a lot of Mercury, so there's a lot of chatter going on, okay? Right before Memorial Day weekend, though, there were a couple of aspects that I shared online, just like a little post, like an infographic or whatever, about Mars and Uranus and then Sun and Uranus. But Gemini, okay, was the focus. And the overarching theme for that aspect was the gift of communication, the gift of language, right? And so we will be kind of diving more into that because it's still Gemini season, okay? But this time through Gemini, we're focusing on Mercury. Okay, Mercury is or will be in Cancer. Mercury right now is still in Gemini. Okay, Neptune is in Aries, and we know that Pluto is currently retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. Okay, I got my notes, you got me. Let's see what we're gonna do. As always, we are starting off with the Astro Soul Oracle deck. Okay, get you one, get you one. Costs a pretty penny too, but it's worth it, I think. So that is that. I'm trying to, okay. All right, so we're going to start with Mercury squaring off Neptune because that aspect happens first. Now, Mercury is going to be fresh in the Cancerian energy. Okay, Mercury literally just moved into Cancer the morning that I am recording this, which is June 1st. It is not this time, but this is the time. 7:56 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on June 1st is when Mercury entered Cancer. And so we go from air to water. Okay. And so this is a square. Square B, square B. Okay. So let's talk about the square. Okay. Squaring off. You see that resistance, struggle, obstacles, all of that is based on your experience. Are you giving effort? What are you learning? Is there conflict that is being resolved? Are you obsessed? Okay. What type of problems are you having? Okay. Those are the kinds of things that you should be taking into account when focusing on a square. Okay, so the tension is already implied in the name. Okay, this is a productive type of tension. Okay, basically the problem gonna get so bad that you just decide you got to do something about it. Okay, you want something different, but you don't want to go overboard. Okay, by meeting these obstacles, these jumping over these hurdles, okay, that is where the strength comes in. Okay, it's almost like an endurance type of deal, but you don't want to run yourself ragged, right? It's almost like as you get older, things get easier because you've been through all of these obstacles. You've overcome all these hurdles, okay? It's strengthening your character, okay? And so, like I said, you're forced to kind of grapple with the issues at hand. But are you able to reconcile those issues? Okay? Are you able to achieve the impossible through a square? Okay? Strength of character and force. Okay? You just got to find the right conduit, the right way to, or the healthy way to get rid of the excess energy, right? And that is literally just the square in and of itself. I had to look at my birth chart. What was this, last night? I was like, oh my God, I have Mercury square Neptune. And I was just reading up. I was like, oh, okay, now I see, this makes sense, blah, blah, blah. So, it's always good. And I'm a Pisces, so doubling down. All right. Enough about me. So, Mercury, planet of learning, communication, information, news, right? Facts. Did I say language? I know I said communication, but language, curiosity, okay? And then you have Neptune, the inspirational sacrificial lamb, all about dreams, spirituality. I don't like to say spacey or confusing, but just a little foggy, hazy, okay? We are the humanitarian. I know people like to say it's Aquarius. Yeah, but Pisces is really about that unity. Well, Neptune, Pisces archetype is really about that unity. Aquarius is more independent, okay? But yes, Neptune, all of the above. So we're going to bring in the zodiacs here. You have Mercury in Cancer, Neptune in Aries, okay? And so, can you see? Let me move it up. I never move it up. I don't know why. So, you have Cancer, water sign, Aries, fire sign. So think steam. Steam engine, full speed ahead, Aries. Okay. And there's steampunk. Okay. Some of y'all might be familiar. Some of you might be familiar. Okay. So Cancer is about active listening, unconditional love, nurturing. It is also about feminine energy. Some people associate it with the mother. Also holding on to things they don't want to let go. Okay. Aries. People all like to talk about the warrior and the fighter and the go. But think of movement when you think of Aries, right? I have Mercury in Aries. And so I give people the example that when I talk, I move. Okay. And sometimes it's not as deep as people be wanting to think or believe, but sometimes it can be just that simple. Okay. That's why you see me doing rap hands all the time, even when I am doing a reading. Okay. So think of movement. Okay. Think of movement. And so Aries is also associated with the self, you being born, survival, living. Okay. And what do you protect when you are doing those things? Your physical body, right? And so we're talking about movement and communication and all of those things. So think of body language. And what are we going to do to communicate whatever it is we're trying to communicate? Okay, so a square between Mercury and Neptune sometimes can be, or a square involving Mercury, I'll say it like that. A square involving Mercury can sometimes lead people to over communicate. Not necessarily like talking too much, but you might be a little too wordy. Okay, keep it simple. Okay, and so when you are too wordy or you over communicate, you just confuse people. Over communicating confuses your audience. Okay? You can't forget that there are also other ways to communicate, not just verbally. Okay? People think talk, 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 communicate, communicate, communicate. Is all, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Okay? There are other ways to communicate. What did I mention earlier? Body language. Body language. Okay? Also, this is where Neptune comes in. Visuals, images, or music. Those are also ways to communicate. And using body language, visuals, or music make it easier for you to explain or make it easier for you to communicate. And it allows it, well, it enables the listener to understand what it is you're trying to say. It resonates with them. Okay? They can pick up what you're putting down when you use other methods of communication. Okay? And so nonverbal communication will challenge you, challenge your audience. Everybody involved is going to be challenged in a more creative space. Okay? Because in order for you to communicate non-verbally through body language, visuals, or music, you got to get creative. You have to get creative in order to get the message across. Okay? It's just like in a song. Like, what are you trying to say? And sometimes it's not necessarily about the words. The beat also communicates to the listener as well. Visuals. What am I seeing? What is this art communicating to me, right? What is this video that I'm watching about this astrology communicating to me? What do my hands say? Okay? What am I saying to you? Okay? So it allows everyone to think outside the box just a bit, because sometimes square, okay, we put ourselves in this box and we cannot get out of it because we can be so rigid. Okay. So this type of nonverbal exchange, it strengthens your ability to communicate and understand abstract ideas. Okay. Abstract or confusing, foggy, hazy, whatever you want to call it, obscure ideas or concepts, like a concept of a plan. How you either creative or you're lacking in some kind of way. Okay? So, once you've captured the imagination of whomever you're talking to, then you hit them with the facts. Okay? Once you got them hooked, once you got the fish on the line, you reel it in with the facts. Reel it in with the information. Then you hit them hard. Just keep bumping them. It's going to be a back and forth. And not that they are going to be challenging you. It's not going to be a debate or who's right or who's wrong. It is literally going to be an exchange of ideas. They are just going to be flowing. Okay? Just flowing. Okay? And so this prevents anyone from being misled. Okay? Because that can happen with a square now. You might don't follow nobody off the edge of a cliff. Okay? And having this exchange of ideas through nonverbal communication, okay, can ensure that. Okay? So now we are going to switch to Mercury quincunx Pluto. Now, everybody knows that we are in the second half of the year just started, but Pluto is currently retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. When did this happen? May 6th at 11:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? Mercury in Cancer will form a quincunx. Hold up. Almost forgot what I gotta do. dang, is this? Yes. Because the quincunx is an obtuse angle. It's 150 degrees. I feel like I got to make a separate video on that, comparing angles to geometric angles. I mean, they are, but you know what I mean. Anyway, quincunx, Mercury in Cancer is quincunx. Okay. I'm going to put this up here because I don't want y'all to get it confused. I don't want no confusion. Quincunx, let me see. Yep. Quincunx to Pluto, whom is retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. Okay. This will happen on June 4th at 2:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as I stated earlier in the video. So we talked a bit about Mercury. So let's talk a little bit more about a quincunx. I've said this before, but quincunx is not what some may consider a major aspect, but it is still important. It is still important. I'm going to tell you why. So quincunx is usually something that is like not a priority, an issue that is, you know, something you could deal with later. Oh, I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. You just gloss over, glaze over, ignore it, sweep it under the rug, whatever you want to call it. But that doesn't mean that the quincunx doesn't need to be handled. Just because you are passive does not mean that there is no irritability, that you're not experiencing any problems, okay, involving this type of aspect. Right? So eventually you're going to have to deal with this quincunx. I'm telling you right now, you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to. So Pluto, we know, is about transformation, rebirth, renewal. Okay. Also kind of like a little bit of criminal activity, the taboo, the subconscious, the death. Okay. In retrograde, you get a redo, you get a second chance. Okay, and we just had the blue moon, which is literally a second chance. Okay, think big, bitch. Okay, that new moon, that blue moon, another full moon in the same month. That blue moon we had on the 31st of May, the other day over the weekend. Okay, that was in Sagittarius. So I need you to go and ask for what it is you want and desire right now. Get your list out. It ain't gonna hurt to ask. Ask for it all. Money, cash, socks, and draws. Okay? Back to retrograde. So you get a redo. Okay? You get a second chance. Aquarius is very independent, rebellious, progressive, original, shocking. Okay, she's a little weird, mad scientist. People are like, are you sure? Are you sure? But let me tell you something. If the cause is bigger than them, they will absolutely join ranks. Aquarius is also, I think, home to grandparents too, associated with grandparents. So, yep, ruled by Uranus. Technology. Okay, technology. And then just a little off bar, I've been reading a lot of information about too much tech in the schools. Basically, is making the kids dumber. And so now they want to take it away. They need to revisit, redo, rethink tech in the schools. They need to put an end to it. Go ahead and let it die, child. Let it die. Okay, we were so obsessed with it before, but now we see, oh, it's making us stupider. I have my own opinion about that. I do think it's making us stupider, but how are we using it? We're not using it to its full capability. But anyway, so just because there is no immediate crisis, or you don't see the crisis as immediate, doesn't mean that you should bypass the small problems. Because if you know anything about a problem, okay, small problems turn to big ones real quick. Okay, real quick. And who wants a bunch of small problems that you got to put out? Who wants that? A bunch of small fires can engulf an entire house. Okay, if you want to eliminate the elimination secrets, okay, you got to say something. You got to talk. Open up your mouth. Okay? Be the advocate. Say something. Speak out on behalf of others who can't speak out on behalf of themselves. Okay? Communication is a two-way street. Okay? Active listening, boom, deepens your sense of belonging. Okay? You may feel that vulnerability isn't a priority. Pluto, very against being vulnerable because they are afraid that somebody is or something is basically like going to take over them, like this mean, evil, negative, nasty spirit. They just, it's like they fighting their demons all the time, and they don't want to be manipulated because if they don't, they just don't want to fuck shit up. Okay? They don't want to have to burn it all down. They don't. Okay? Because the phoenix, in order to rise, you got to burn up. Okay? Okay? So, vulnerability may not be a priority, but what being vulnerable actually does is eliminates power struggles. Okay? How does that happen? Oh my gosh. Okay? It helps you to face your deepest fears. Okay? Your words hold weight. So not saying anything leaves room for doubt. And that is not what we want to do. Doubt, Mercury. Detachment also won't serve you, but being softer will transform you. Okay? Conversations can be surprisingly healing. Those deeper insights will leave you more receptive to confronting your own shadows. Breakdowns lead to extraordinary progress. Okay? You need to say something, because if you don't, who will? If you don't say anything, who will? Okay? And so now we are going to bring back Neptune. Okay, so now that we have everything on the board, I forgot to, how am I going to do this? Cover that up. And then I'm going to do this. Because a quincunx is 150 degrees. 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 Sorry, perfection is always a priority in some aspects. No pun intended. Okay, let me see what that looks like. That's good enough. So, Mercury, Cancer. Oops, Frankie. Mercury in Cancer. Okay, vulnerability. So we talked about nonverbal communication. And we also talked about the importance of communicating, what happens if you don't, like the pros and cons of communication, right? We learned about the different types of communication And then we learned here why it is important to use different types of communication. Okay? So Mercury in Cancer, square Neptune in Aries. Boom. Different types of communication. What is it? Body language. What else? Music and visuals. Yes, 3. Those are not the only ways. That's just what we talk about right now. Okay? So 3 ways of communication that you probably don't necessarily use on a regular basis. Okay? Learn your body. Learn your facial expressions. Do you have RBF? If you do, fix it when it's appropriate. Learn to fix it when you're in certain social settings, maybe at work, church, what have you, right? Right? Okay. So here, down here, why is it important to use alternative, different, different types of communication? Why is that important? Because it allows you to be vulnerable. Communication is a two-way street, deepens your sense of belonging, helps you to face your deepest fears. It does. It definitely does. Speaking up or communicating about things that you probably never wanted to address. Because being detached doesn't affect me. Oh, I'm good. It doesn't matter. I'm okay. No, you are pissed and you scared and not scared, and you don't want to say something because you are fearful of what? That you're going to get into an argument and all of this, who knows what other kind of chaos could ensue. But I can guarantee you, guess what? It's not going to go the way you think it is. It's not going to go the way you think it is. It's actually going to be much easier than you think it is. The challenge is just deciding what it is that you actually want to convey. Like, what actually are you trying to say? Are you saying that you hurt, that you pissed, that you mad, sad, depressed, anxious, stressed, lost, confused? What do you want to say? And it probably won't be just like one thing. If you have a multitude of things to communicate, what did I tell you? Don't be so wordy. Keep it simple. And if talking is too much, create a visual. Create a visual. Body language, interpretive dance. Something to help you heal, your fear of vulnerability. That's the word I was looking for. Because what you have to say matters. It's important. But you got to confront your shadows. And be real and honest with yourself. Like, this is how I really feel, and I need to say something, or I'm going to be holding on to this for, who knows, in perpetuity perhaps, right? Or until you essentially explode. Aries, emotional as Neptune, my bad, and vengeful old Pluto there. You're best to make sure that you communicate your feelings. Say something. Maybe it's to your mama, maybe it's to a grandparent. I don't know who it's to, but you need to open your mouth. So, all right, y'all. I hope this was good. I'll see you next time. Peace.